Utopia.
Utopia!
Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben.
And I'm Kay.
And today we are reviewing an Amazon original series called Utopia. A group of young adults who meet online get hold of a cult underground graphic novel which not only pins them as a target of a shadowy deep state organization, but also burdens them with the dangerous task of saving the world.
Ooh.
So this is obviously a remake, so it's to say it's an original, I guess, is not quite right. There were two original seasons from a British TV series, and it wasn't based off anything. It was a unique IP, and I believe it showed here in the UK on Channel 4 and was very widely received as one of the best things we've seen on TV. It was praised for its uniqueness, its weirdness, its quirkiness, and just had a cult following almost immediately. And so when it was not picked up for a third season, fans were really pissed off and upset. And ever since then, much like the Firefly fans, they've been hankering for a new season. Mm-hmm. So when there was word of a new works, a lot of them thought, yay,
finally,
season 3. Unfortunately, that is not the case. And so when these trailers came out, you get the teaser trailer, you get the main trailer, they had a bunch of thumbs down before seeing the series, judging it on, hey, I don't like the look of that because that's not the characters I'm used to seeing. Also, the way it's been remade is not British, it's Americanized. And so we have a vast different, I would say, look and style and feel. So obviously the look and style and feel from the British one is very different. However, if you've not seen the original, then you won't know anything, which is why I brought Kay with me. She's seen all the episodes. I've seen this new season twice through. We've seen episodes 1 to 7.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're giving price. They're not giving the 8 episodes because they don't want us to spoil anything, especially that last episode. But if you've seen the original, I can tell you're going to guess what's going to happen because for the most part, they do cover the same ground from this imaginary comic book.
It's a comic.
It's a graphic novel. It's called the Utopia Experiments.
And even so much so that there is an uncanny resemblance to the cast from the original to the ones that we have now. They have, for the most part, really made them look similar, especially one particular character, Arby, who is my favorite character in both. Amazingly, not the same actor, but they look very similar. And so they're obviously trying to get those fans that love the original, which I think was a bad thing to do. I think you needed to separate yourself completely.
Yeah.
However, is it any good? Let's talk about it. This is a non-spoiler review, so you can, sink your teeth into this review. Please judge the series. That's all I can say after you've seen it. Also, this review. Once you've seen it, if you still hate it, fine. But before you've seen it, just seems a bit bizarre.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, babe.
So, obviously, as Ruben said, I have never seen the original. I have no clue what the original was about or who was in it or anything about it. So I came at this completely fresh, and I can say that I loved it. I thought it was really interesting. It was detailed. It was nuanced. It was sometimes completely off the wall. Quirky and weird, and just I loved the music, I loved the score. I did have a slight issue again with not being able to hear what people are saying because you've just turned it down because the music was really loud, and then you're like, oh, I can't hear what they're saying. Turn it up, turn it down, turn it up, turn it down, which just seems to be the way with most modern TV series and films. So that's completely beside the point. That's not really detracting from the actual making of this series. I think it's really interesting the time in the world that it's come out.
Yeah.
So there was a note in the press pack from the author just to let us know that actually she didn't have a crystal ball. It's purely coincidence that we happen to be watching this during a global pandemic. And I guess that disappointed me slightly because it feels so... the conspiracy is so sort of deep and intertwined throughout this whole series that you kind of sit there sometimes going, ooh, could this be what's happening in the world right now? Obviously, it's just a story that somebody made up, or is it?
This series has so many characters that really stand out, that have amazing on-screen presence.
Yeah.
On both sides. And when I'm talking about sides, we're talking about there's clear good guys in this, and there's clear bad guys in this. And so there's a team that send out the bad guys to go and collect Jessica Hyde and the comic book that
The graphic novel.
The graphic novel. Well, it's not
Don't
even. It's
call
not
it
a
a
graphic
comic.
novel.
It's a graphic novel.
Series of artworks.
Yeah, it's individual artwork pages that foretell the future of some stuff, and they don't want you to know because obviously they're the bad guys and they're up to no good. But on the bad guy team, we have a character called Arby, and he is so similar looking to the original one as well. It's like they cast them to be the same characters because obviously they're trying to get the fans from the original, but it does seem like maybe they should have, I probably mentioned this already, they should have kind of diverse that and made it their own thing.
Yeah.
I digress. RB is fantastic. He has amazing on-screen presence, but what makes him so interesting is his development of character that you see from episode 1 to episode 7. We really get to like him as a character. You like the bad guy, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it so much more complex. You know, a bit more like life. You know, you don't have these cardboard cutouts of bad guys who are bad because they're bad.
Yeah.
You know, they're actually complicated, broken individuals. And I think, you know, and similarly for the good guys, or good guys in inverted commas, because you've got this Jessica Hyde character who sometimes just, you're like, whoa!
Yeah, you don't know what to expect from him.
Are you the good guy? And I think also just the way they've been manipulated and the lives that they've had all sort of culminates in the story that's being told.
Yeah, and so we have the Jessica Hyde character, who we're not really sure why she's the good person, but in the graphic novels they're like, where is Jessica Hyde? She must survive.
Yeah.
On the bad side, we have Arby, who seems to be, for the first time, going through some stuff. That's all we're going to say, just to say that.
Just say that.
And we also have a fairly few faces. Wow, good English.
Yeah.
We have a few faces that you'll recognise. John Cusack is in this. Let's just start with that.
He's a character.
He is a character. And he's done some stuff recently that hasn't been that good. And he's not really been in the limelight. If you go back to the 80s, we see him in amazing films. High Fidelity, Grosse Pointe Blank. We could just, the list is endless. Fantastic. Identity. Love them. And I'm so glad to see him. It feels like he's back to being John Cusack. He went away for a bit.
Yeah.
But in this, we're talking about on-screen presence. But
I think he's been given meat.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's really important for an actor. You need to know what is, I mean, it sounds so like acting school 101. What is my motivation in this scene? But I think, actors do actually need that. They need backstory. They need details to hang their characters off of. Otherwise, it's just a caricature.
I mean, again, this whole series isn't very heavy on the dialogue. There's a lot of visual.
It's very action.
There is a lot of action. There's a lot of movement, and so John Cusack doesn't have that much dialogue. There's a lot of looks, very solemn looks. You kind of always want to know what's going on in his mind, and then his actions often make you go, "Wow, okay," without giving any spoilers. So you don't know what's going on with him. Very quickly you find out that he's the science guy. That's his character until you find out more about it as the series goes on.
Yeah.
And so we have all these great actors that have great on-screen presence. You have young kids that are actually good at their jobs. They've been cast well.
Yeah.
We have quirky characters. So it makes for a very interesting story, especially like we're talking about now. So I really hope that fans of old will give this a chance. I hope new fans will love this and that it will be popular enough to get a second season. Do let us know if you want a spoiler review. I think we're going to do one anyway. What are you most looking forward to? If you are an original fan, what are you hoping that this is going to be? And if you're a new fan and you've seen the trailer, what are you hoping this is going to be? Because I think there's two perspectives there that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I would say that if you're squeamish, there are some scenes in here that will take you back. Like if you can't handle torture gore, there is...
Well, you know how I got over that?
How? Just don't look.
Just don't look.
Yeah. And there's some stuff that will, it made me scream.
There was quite a lot that I didn't look at in the first few episodes. I was like,
okay.
Yeah.
I have to say, it did keep me on my toes. And it's been so long, even if you're an original fan from the original series, it's been so long that I had forgotten a lot. And so even now, it took me by surprise, some of the story moments, which is great. That's exactly what you want. You want it to kind of do its own thing. I love this new interpretation of this kind of remake of a Channel 4 UK series. You can't buy the graphic novel, but you can get it printed, I think, at one place. So if you're really invested and you want to see the artwork and try and figure out for yourself, maybe there is something. Maybe that's where they took it from, and that's how they can tell the future.
Yeah.
Wear your tinfoil hat and away you go.
Absolutely. I might end up wearing one.
Well, yeah.
I also wanted to say that I totally understand why diehard fans of the original would be upset about a remake. If we just take Firefly as an example, we obviously are hardcore fans of the original Firefly. Now, if they came out and said they were going to remake it with a whole new cast, but they were going to make it as close to the original as possible, I honestly don't know if you could do it in a way that we would like it.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know, and I think that is a really difficult thing for people to do. But there is a whole world out there of people who have never seen it and who would love the new interpretation of it. And I think it's maybe our duty to give them an opportunity to do that without inundating
it brings
the media
an audience
with
to the story.
So much hate.
Because the UK is just a small part of the world.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people outside of the UK has seen this story. So maybe what will happen is people like, oh, this is amazing. There's an original, and might go and revitalize that. And who knows, because they probably still own the rights to their own IP, might revitalize it enough to get a third season.
Or a film like Serenity.
Yeah. You know, this is only good for Utopia. I don't think it's bad. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, you know, using the Firefly example again, if they did a Firefly remake and it was crap, well then, of course, just hate on it all you like.
Yeah.
But this was not crap. This was really well made.
Yeah, it was. It was very good. I'm going to give this an A.
Yeah. I think I'm going to give it an A too. And that might change based on the last episode, which of course we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, so it's a preliminary A. If the last episode is great, then I might bump it up to A+, depending on how much they leave us on a cliffhanger, because it's obviously going to be one. They've got a lot more story to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember,
live long and Tuesday.